Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Reality Water Cooler. I am Sarah from Texas, and this is our place to chat all the latest reality TV shows we love. Jeff Lewis, celebrity gossip, Luna. Oh my gosh, she's laying right next to me. I don't even know how to break the news to her. Make sure you're subscribed to me. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, the like button, all the things, the heart. Make sure you're tapping the screen over on TikTok. I would really appreciate it. Shout out Chumpettes. Tiffany says, hello, how are you? Okay, update. If you are not following me on Instagram, that's where I mostly post a bunch of stories. And Luna was so excited to go to this daycare like trial run. They said she had to stay there a minimum of 3 hours, but the first 10 to 15 minutes, I had to sit there and watch her interact with dogs to make sure she was okay. And she had done this a couple of years ago, but then we started using because she was boarded there once, remember, and got kennel cough. So I was upset, but it's understandable. It's a vaccine. Everyone's required to get it, but it can always get through. She happened to be sick for like 3 weeks, and I was devastated as a dog mom, right? Felt super guilty. And then we found a place that boards dogs, and it's on this huge acreage, all the things. It was so great. They had hurricane damage, so they can't keep her when we need her upcoming. And so they're not going to be open again till like October. So I had to find another place. So we went back to this one. When I tell you everything went fine, like I do not know what happened. Luna is so easygoing. She is so fun. She loves people. She loves dogs. She loves everything. And I watched the entire time. I was not distracted. My phone was not in my purse. My phone was in my purse. And I explained it all on my account, but really quickly, the lady comes out and she's like, "Well, you can tell she was a little nervous." And I'm like, oh, "Okay," thinking she didn't look nervous to me. Anyways, and she says, "So it's going to be a no right now, but if you want to go home and work with her, maybe eventually we can take her." I was stunned. I called my husband immediately. Well, when I got to the car, I was like, "She was denied." He's like, "What? What happened?" I said, "I don't know. They said she lunged at a dog, but I didn't see any lunging at a dog." She called this dog, oh, what did she call it? Not aggressive. She called it, like it had a lot of confidence. I forget the word she used, but she said it was a very confident dog. And she said, "You can see that Luna lunged at the dog." And I said, "Oh, I didn't see that at all." And she goes, "Oh, well, it might have been in kennel too. You might not have seen the camera." And I'm like, I watched her the entire time. She was in this big room, like Luna's growling, like, "Don't talk about me." I haven't alpha dog, is that what they said they called her? It was something like that. Anyways, I haven't broke the news to Luna yet. I'm gonna say it's happening for me. Obviously, I open up TMZ an hour later and I see this report of a dog groomer that is abusing a dog, and I'm like, "Okay, this is happening for me." We've got to come up with another plan. Anyways, screw you, doggy daycare. Screw you, dog boarding. Ugh. Anyway, so my girl, devastated. Speaking of another girl, so I wake up this morning. When I go to sleep, I put my phone on do not disturb. Probably a lot of us do that. But that means everyone in your favorites, if they call, it comes straight through. If an unknown number calls twice, in other words, there's an emergency or somebody's using another phone, what have you, it rings through. Everything else goes to do not disturb and it won't wake you up. So I wake up this morning to a text message, not a call, at 12:54 a.m. from the daughter that we just moved into college last Saturday, so 5 or 6 days ago, and it said, "Are you awake?" question mark. I'm like, "Is everything okay?" So of course I'm sleeping. I don't even see the text till like 10 in the morning. And I had just talked to her on the phone. She had sent me a picture of her and two friends getting frozen yogurt. There's some Christian organization that recruited them or invited them to go out and get frozen yogurt. They're still at Welcome Week. Okay. So this whole week is like meeting people and joining clubs and organizations, having so much fun, and then starting classes next week. So she just wanted to FaceTime me. That's all. She was like, "Oh, we were just sitting in my dorm and we all wanted to FaceTime you," because she knows I am up sometimes at 1 in the morning, like, watching my shows. And, I said, "Girl, when you are a mom and you get a text that says, 'Are you awake?' question mark," I immediately think, "Oh my god, her boyfriend, a friend, there's dorm drama, like, there's an accident, like, what the hell?" She's like, "No, we just wanted to FaceTime you." So I had been, chatting in the DMs with Megan Weaver about her daughter going away to college and, everything. So I sent her the picture of that text, and I'm like, this is a text I hope you don't get. Anyways, I was also chatting with when I shared the podcast of Eden Sassoon yesterday, I tagged her in it. So she responded and then reshared that. And then she started following me. But also, we were chatting because her son, she just sent away to, not sent away, but, just got situated into his freshman year of college. And, anyways, so I said that I had 5 kids. She was like, "Oh my God, that's crazy. Like, congrats to you, whatever." And I'm like, "You mean like, I'm sorry?" Anyways, Megan's daughter is, if you're not following Megan Weaver, she posted a picture that I can post 3 times over for sure. It was like 17 boxes from Amazon. And it was Drew asking, "Hey, can I order a few things for the dorm?" And it's like all these things. That is what my dining room table looked like the last 3 weeks or so of summer, because I had 2, one going from the sorority house into an apartment. So even though she claimed this apartment was fully furnished, no, there was a bunch of crap we bought. Anyways, and then, obviously the dorm, which is fully furnished, and we had to buy a bunch of crap for it. So our house looked like Amazon and Love Shack Fancy just vomited everywhere. So I'm sort of glad all that crap is out of my house. What else? The Italian meatloaf was a hit. I did do a review of it. I've cooked twice this week. I'm just saying, maybe this having 2 kids thing is, oh, wow, Libby dropped off her last of 5 kids. How's it going? Let me know. I've got 2 years to do it another time and then 4 years to do it the last time. Wow. It is no joke paying for 3 different colleges at the same exact time. It's like you think, "Oh, 3 in diapers." No, no, no. College tuition is way more. Anyways, but I've cooked twice this week, and of course my kids ate neither one of them, but me and the husband ate it. So what else? Carney's daughter also, she got her situated, Lola, into Chapman University. Even though Jeff talks about USC, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like he went, where did he actually graduate from? I get it confused. I feel like he didn't get into the business school at USC, so he ended up at Chapman University, but then I feel like he transferred over to USC. I'm not even sure. Does anyone know? Well, she's going to Chapman University, whatever that is, and, she actually posted the name of her kid's apartment complex on there, and I'm like, "You probably should," I don't know. It was like her and anyways, not my Instagram story to post, but it was interesting. Um Talk about 2 more things, and then we'll get into some shows, Dubai and Million Dollar Listing LA. And then, of course, today's Jeff Lewis. That was a replay, but it was really good. Ooh, Lisa says, "I love my air fryer. Do you have one?" We have one. It terrifies me. I have never used it. It terrifies me. I also had what's that? A one pot thing. Anyways, I used it a couple times and gave it to my sister-in-law, but the air fryer terrifies me for some reason. I don't know why. I do not use it. Anyways, thank you, Krista, for asking people to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you. Um, okay, Richard Simmons. The news came out that his death is as a result of him falling. You don't die from falling. I mean, there's got to be something like, a blood clot, you broke a hip and got pneumonia. I mean, you don't just die from falling. And then heart disease, something about that. I'm just saying, I've said it from the beginning. There is something going on. I don't think the brother is involved, but I think this longtime live-in housekeeper, house manager, whatever it is, I don't care if your boss says don't call the police or the medical assistants, you still call. If it's bad enough, now maybe he's a little guy. It's not like he fell and broke his heart, or I don't know, can even break a heart. I don't know. He died 1 or 2 days later. It's just weird, right? You don't die from falling. There's gotta be something else that makes you fall. And then he was in a different spot. It's not like he fell and laid there. He was like in no, I think he was on the I don't know. It's weird. There's multiple different stories coming out. I think it's weird. Michael Riley says he always had bad legs. He had bad knees. So that's one of the things. But he was fine. He was fine. Yes, Brittany Murphy's death was strange also. Yeah, is she the one where someone murdered her? Like, was she the celebrity that somebody or no, that was drugs. That was drugs, and she was with her husband. That's right. Yes, it will be interesting to see what his will looks like, Mabu, because he had lots of money and no kids, no husband, you know. I think just one brother that's still alive, and he's older. Also all over the news, it's almost as if they're dying. J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, and Ben Affleck, yes, they're getting a divorce. Now all of these details, though, someone put out a picture of him smoking a cigarette, like this is him the day after. Y'all, he's a smoker. Of course he smokes. I mean, every day, he probably smokes, I don't know, 10 to 20, 30, 40 cigarettes a day. That's what smokers do. So the fact that they caught him out smoking as if like that's like consoling him. Like I think he's smoking every day, whether or not they were getting a divorce. But the inside of her engagement ring, which one of the chumpettes and I were chatting about this massive collection of her engagement rings, like what they do with that, right? It's engraved, and he wrote in there, not going anywhere. I mean, that didn't really age too well now, did it? They're not even talking. Like, it's bad. They're not talking. They don't have enough financial agreement. We talked about all these details yesterday. So go back and look at the replay or listen to the podcast if you want to. It's just all this stuff coming out as if they died. I'm like, I guess it's a slow news day. Speaking of days, I got confused yesterday at the very end of yesterday's show. I do want to know more about Bob Saget. That's weird too. There's no blood. There wasn't internal. It was just the Bob Saget thing is weird to me too. Yeah. But yesterday, at the end of yesterday's show, I was like, y'all make sure to watch OC tonight so we can chat about it tomorrow. Y'all, yesterday was Wednesday. OC is on Thursday night, so I was absolutely wrong. But I don't know that I'll get to watch it tonight. I have got a friend's birthday dinner that we're all I think it's 5 of us. I think 6 of us were invited, but one can't make it. So I pulled out this floral dress. I think it's Alice and Olivia. I bought it a couple years ago, and I didn't wear it all summer because I kind of wore it 2 or 3 times. I'm wearing it tonight. I cannot wait. I'm going to take a shower, put my hair down, put some makeup on. I'm going to let all the dog mom guilt get away from me and go outside. Of course, on the thank you, Lisa, for asking people to tap the screen on TikTok. I appreciate it. RJ, we're talking pop culture, J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, Dubai, $1 Million Listing LA. Okay, $1 Million Listing LA, who Tracy Tudor's in a little bit of drama right now, but she posted a picture of her looking so hot in a bikini on vacation, but still working. I'm like, girl, you get it. I am team Tracy Tudor all freaking day long. I chatted about it yesterday, so go back and listen if you want to, but all she did was give her opinion on the Lala and Ariana of it all. That's all she did. She's another Bravo celebrity. I feel like she has a right to give her opinion. So last night was episode 7. Josh Altman, they've been married now, I don't know. They've been at least together 10 years. I remember when they met. Josh Altman and Heather Altman. I'm calling it. I feel like it's going to get old very soon. For episodes, she's been talking about their marriage and how he's working so much and all these things. And, you know, all the child raising and the stress of raising the kids, the 2 little kids is on her. And she is like CEO or something of the company. She is like not a nothing. She absolutely works. But even if you don't work, like I was a stay-at-home most of my marriage. Now, my husband had a very different career where he was off by 3:30 or 4. So very different. He didn't work weekends. He didn't work nights and all that stuff. Definitely not a workaholic, but very dedicated to his career. but he was on when he got home. No matter if I was a stay-at-home mom, no matter if I was a working mom when I was a teacher for 5 years, he was on. And I feel like they either need to replace her, get her an assistant, get another person doing that job, because I think she wants to. It's one thing if she wants to be more of a career woman and have more help as a nanny or some kind of situation like that. I feel like she wants to be the mom that's very hands on, but yet she also wants this career and she just doesn't have much balance of that. So I feel like she and Josh are I could see the big D happening. Let's just say I'm calling it for sure. Calling it for sure. Wait, who's mentioning Denton? You're going to Denton tonight? Anyways, y'all know I have a second home up in Denton. Second apartment, if you will. Anyways, so they have this calendar situation and Josh Altman cannot figure it out. I'm like, it is 2024. How do you not know how to do a digital calendar where your family and your husband can see what you've got going on? He seemed absolutely perplexed by it, confused by it. I don't understand. I would hate for them to get a divorce, Lori. I never want that on anyone. I'm just saying I feel it. I feel like if this is enough, I feel like if she's saying it on TV multiple times, that means it's very serious. Because I feel like if she just wanted to fake it to make it, she would just act like their marriage was all hunky dory and everything was great. But I feel the fact that she's mentioned it a few times means a lot. Anyways, speaking of mentioning it, did y'all see this? Josh Flagg tells us he's a top. Okay. I mean, not that I'm shocked, but I don't know. Figured he could be a bottom. It came up because I don't know. He was talking about something 12 inches and Tracy says, "Oh, I thought you were a top." And he's like, "I am, but I tried it one time." Anyways, reminds me of the interview that Andy Cohen was doing on a Zoom podcast with Isaac Mizrahi. And just all of a sudden, Isaac asked him, "Are you a top or a bottom?" And Andy Cohen was like, "I'm a top." He's like, I need to open myself up and kind of get loosey goosey. But I was just like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I cannot, I mean, I have my thoughts on Jeff, but I just can't imagine Jeff being that open and talking about it, which I don't even think on that podcast he did with, y'all have not listened to that. Now that's a good one. I mean, Jeff really, he said a lot. I think it caused issues with him and Stu for sure. Publicly, they said. The interview that he did with Zach Noe Towers, whatever that podcast is called. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, but it's the Jeff Lewis interview. It's really good. Shocking though. So Josh Altman and his brother are in business together. They get a house in Encino, which is in the Valley, for $25 million. And they end up selling it. But the exciting part was it was this guy and girl, husband and wife, I think. I don't really know. They showed them, but I don't know if they were famous. Clearly, they're rich to buy a $25 million house. But at the end of it, when they got the deal for $23.5 million. The husband calls the wife and she was getting her nails done. And he's like, "Honey, we got the house." Like, they were so excited. Like, I watch this show all the time, and I watch the $1 Million Listing New York one. These rich people, they never seem excited. It's almost like a business deal. And I'm like, to me, a home should be an emotional deal, right? Like, he was so excited that he got the house and wanted to tell his wife. And I just loved whatever they said. "We got the house, honey." It was so cute. Lisa on TikTok says, "Josh looked really good last night, but is he too laid back?" Tracy called him lazy. Yeah, at that, so they co-listed. Josh gave Tracy a co-listing that was kind of easy, basically, because he's going away to France for a week and, he couldn't deal with it. And yeah, Tracy was working her arse off at this open house. And, but Josh is like, "Hey, I've called 14 people." I think Josh Flagg is the epitome of I work smarter, not harder. I feel like he clearly he gets it done. I mean, he gets this award for being in the top 1% of his company. And, the assistant gives it to him and he's just like, "Yeah, it's good. Like, put it on your house. I don't even care." But he he doesn't have to work hard. So I respect. He came from money. He's got money. He's only like, forget how old he is now, like 36, 37, maybe. I mean, he is very successful. So I love him. Yeah, I think Everly on TikTok or Instagram says he's laid back, but that's his personality. And I love it. He's dealt with he has addictions in the past. Hmm. I don't know that he's ever talked about that, but maybe he has and I missed it. Anyways, it was super cute. Got caught up on Dubai last night. So Sarah, what's in the news recently is Sarah is a single mom to her 7-year-old son. I don't even think the dad's in the picture. Maybe financially he helps. Maybe he just doesn't want to be on camera. They never talk about like her missing him when he goes away. So I feel like there's no dad in the situation. So apparently in Dubai and a lot of countries, it's very common, but especially if you're wealthy, especially if you're a working single mom, to have either a live-in or she called her the maid. So I'm not using that word myself. That is I know you have to say housekeeper nowadays. But she is saying that her maid, she had found out, was covering the cameras on the inside of the house, bringing men to her house. Then she found, so WhatsApp is a free app that I think a lot of people over in Dubai use, or maybe other countries. Somehow she got the WhatsApp messages, and these guys were asking for a picture of her 7-year-old little boy. What time do they leave the house? Where does he get off the bus for school? She's in jail. So there is no, I mean, even at one point she's telling the ladies at this like polo event, fancy, and they're like, she's in jail in Dubai. Like, I don't even know that many people go to jail in Dubai because I think it's a very strict country. And I think people that choose to live there are rule followers and they agree to whatever. Yeah. Melanie says, oh my God, that would creep me out if someone was covering the camera. Yeah. And clearly she trusted this lady. That's the awful thing. So then you get, was it Caroline Brooks? You get one of them whose mom lives in America and she's trying to get that mom to come there no, I think it was Lisa. Lisa has 3 boys. I think it was Lisa. Lisa was like, now more than ever, I want my mom to come over and be my live-in nanny because I trust them. Like I always had my mom, I worked for just over a year. Well, I guess 10 months after I went back, when I had my first baby, and my mom watched our daughter at our house. So I never had to worry about, daycare or anyone. It was my mom who was very loving to our kids. So to me, when you lose that trust of an in-care person and it's something that drastic, what I thought was weird is at one point, who came over? I get all these girls mixed up. There's so many reality TV names in my head. Somebody is over. I forget. Oh, it's just 2 friends that we don't even know. It's 2 friends that are just friends not on the show. And they are at Sarah's house. And the 7-year-old, her little boy, is just sitting there. And she's talking about this. And then she goes on to say, oh, he's terrified. He won't sleep alone. He, is scared now. And I'm like, I realize he knows about this because he had to be interviewed by the police and such. I just don't feel like at 7 years old, he needed to hear her retell this in front of her friends, because I think that just amplifies it and makes it even more scary, the way she was saying and everything. I just didn't like that. Let me know your thoughts on that. Some of y'all don't even think are watching the show, but I think you probably heard about, the story. Melanie says, when I'm at my son's house and I let the girls have a snack, my son doesn't approve of it. It never fails. He sees it on the camera and calls me. I tell him Mimi gets to spoil them. I never had cameras inside my home. We just don't feel the need for that. We've got lots of external cameras. But I guess if I had I guess I would have it if I had somebody in my home, maybe watching my kids. No, even when we had an after school nanny for 3 years. She was amazing. She's still in our life. When I was a teacher, the first 3 years, we had her come like 3 p.m. to like 5 or 6 p.m. I don't remember, just to kind of help get the kids off the bus from school, homework, get them a snack, make sure they're not fighting, all those things. And then the last 2 years I was a teacher, they kind of got old enough that we didn't really need that. And she had graduated college by then. She was like in her early 30s, graduated college and had gotten a real job. So it didn't work out. But even with her, I didn't have cameras. Like I just trusted her fully. And my kids were way old enough to tell me anything going on. You know what I mean? Wow. So Tina says, I had a babysitter that let my 3-year-old slide down the basement stairs. Her bottom and back were black and blue. Ooh, little did the babysitter know the other boy's dad was a district judge. Wow. People can make bad mistakes, right? I mean, clearly that's why that one got let go. By the way, who is the one that he got let go? Because the other day he was talking about Maria coming in. We know Aurora is there. He'll probably never let her go. She's kind of like grandfathered in from taking care of his grandma. And then we know that Zoila still works there. What was the name of the other housekeeper that he let go? She was a nanny she was more of a nanny. She was the one that was making the bad decisions in lying that, he had taken her somewhere. I forget the name of it though. Anyways, what else? So also Sarah talks about the breakup of sort of this guy that she was dating named Aiken or something. She claimed, no, it's not Aurora. She's still there. She claims it's because he was jealous that she was going to get paid $40,000 to be on a podcast. Ain't nobody paying $40,000. She is not a huge celebrity. Like, I mean, even the Hawk Tua girl probably isn't getting paid $40,000 to do a podcast. I just don't believe she was going to get paid $40,000 to do this podcast. Like maybe he was right and she was, he was trying to do something else. I don't know. Seemed awfully weird. Again, it was brought up at the very end of the show. They're on this beautiful boat for her birthday. I mean, Sergio is the man. He is definitely the person. If you were into birthdays, no, it wasn't the hot nanny. The hot nanny is Lisa, who works at Larson's. She's still with them. And then the other hot nanny is Alyssa, which is Jamie Kennedy's girlfriend. So definitely wasn't the hot nanny. But who was it? I can't remember that girl's name. Oh, Krista, so rich of you. When you have multiple homes, you have to have internal cameras. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, who is that person? It's not Lisa. Lisa was definitely not fired. Lisa travels with him. I think Lisa, the hot nanny, was probably the one that came to Phoenix with him and was keeping Monroe. I think he talks about that on the airplane or, when they travel and such. So anyways, okay. So today was a pre-tape. It was still really good. No, it wasn't Jenny. But it was Shayna Moakler and Jamie Kennedy. I actually thought it was funny. They recorded this Tuesday afternoon for today. I kind of like that Jeff had a whole day off. I did not know till I was watching the Jeff Lewis video yesterday. They were chatting about because tomorrow is live. So it's the show, Jeff Lewis, starts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I did not realize that Hawaii is 3 hours earlier. I just didn't think it was that far away or that there was that many different time zones. So when he records, when they go live tomorrow, it's going to be 6 a.m. in the morning, Hawaii time. So very early in the day for sure. But today was about bronies. Anyone ever heard of this? I guess it's bro and ponies. Oh, did I even finish my thought about Caroline Stanberry? He asked her point blank, are we going to have a baby? And she said, and she says, is that going to be the end of us? Basically, is that going to be the end if we don't have a baby? Because right now I don't want a baby. So we know in real time, at least not that she's admitted, they are not pregnant. So this was filmed, months ago. I think it's a huge deal that he wants a baby. And I don't think she wants that lifestyle at all, but I don't think she can also give it. I think they're going to end up being, like, Eric and Tracy Tudor, just maybe they were good together, but it's just they're two different life. And he's also younger than her, and I think especially her kids are like older teenagers, maybe 14 and 17. I'm not really sure the ages of her kids. as they get older and more independent, she's definitely not going to want to go back to that baby stage. I mean, definitely agree with that. Matter of fact, yesterday, the lady, Donna, who gives my facials, she's never had children, but through her stepdaughter, she's about to be a grandmother for the first time in a few months. And she's talking about how so excited she is. And, we were talking about she has a friend that got pregnant on accident at 44 and started over. And, it's a blessing, whatever. But we were just saying how, boy, these surprise pregnancies, like I'm 51. I would be like, oh, hail to the no. Because one of the appointments I had to cancel when I was sick last week was my OBGYN that needs to either replace my, what's that thing called? The Marina, my IUD, or give me some other form of birth control. So, because I'm like Megan Weaver. I'm still fertile myrtle at 51 years old, I guess. Still having the monthlies. Melanie says, do you know which embryo Jeff has left? He has a boy left, doesn't he? No, or does he have a girl? Oh, geez. Which one did he try a year ago and it didn't work? It didn't implant. I feel like he tried shoot. Anybody remember? I'm literally getting it mixed up. Yes, Everly says surrogacy is illegal in Dubai, which they talked about a few weeks ago on one of the shows. Yeah. Okay. My Little Pony fans. I didn't even know there was adults who are My Little Pony fans. So I guess if you add the word bro, like a boy, bro, and then pony, bronies is My Little Pony fans who are just fans, and then also ones who are into, let's just say corn, but it starts with a P, right? Not corn that you eat, but P that you watch, I guess, right? I know none of us can remember. All of y'all are saying boy, girl. I don't remember. It was a boy, it was a girl. I can't even remember. Can't even remember which one it was. Anyways, they talk about that. They talked about Shayna and Jamie are so happy that they did this afternoon show because they are not morning people. Like they wake up at noon. So I've said this before. I think for people like Kathy Hilton that I would love to come on the show, on Jeff Lewis. She has said in comments before on Instagram that she would definitely love to come on his show. I think she's another one that's just a night owl and 9 a.m. And especially to meet at coffee. They meet for coffee at like 8:30 in the morning or so. That's an option, kind of not an option. I think it's just too early for some of these people. And, it's a weekday. Not that they have like a corporate job. What did Jamie teased about Alyssa, and he said that she used to be a corporate Connie, which I'd never heard that term. I thought that was kind of funny. Jordy says we all wake up at noon. Like I'm a stay-at-home mom and I don't wake up at noon. I just can't imagine. I love my sleep, but I just got to get the day started. You know what I mean? But I can definitely take an afternoon nap, like 4 to 5 p.m. You can definitely catch me in bed if there's an opportunity for sure. Oh, I would love, Bravo and Stone said maybe Jeff could do a nightcap with Kathy Hilton. I would love to see them go get drinks. I would love, especially with Kyle. Yes, Kyle and Kathy and Jeff. I would love that. Why was it controversial? They were raving about it. So that's part of so Tiffany Chump says the Playboy Mansion talk was controversial. I mean, clearly quite a few of the former Playmates have come out and said lots of negative things about Hugh Hefner, his staff, the cover-ups, lots of bad things. Shayna Moakler and Jamie Kennedy had absolutely nothing negative to say, and they loved it. They said they never saw anything bad. Now, maybe they just never saw it. I feel like everyone can have a different experience places, and I feel like some people just may not have been invited to all the, you know what I mean? So all the bad stuff that was going on. So maybe they just never saw it. Who knows? I've definitely heard of some really bad stuff. Yes, Tiffany Jump, always. She says, I felt like Jameson probably wanted to jump out of his skin. And even Jamie said something to Jameson about like, we don't have to protect everyone. We can talk about when they were talking about the bronies. And Jameson was just letting people know, hey, there is a subculture that are just adult My Little Pony fans. I mean, Jameson's almost like a 10-year younger, or whatever he is, 13, 14-year younger version of Doug Buden. I feel like he knows a little bit about a lot of things, right? Like he's always talking about things. Oh my gosh, Mayboo, your first grandchild was due on Tuesday. Oh my gosh. I had one baby 8 days late, so it can happen. And she's a healthy little girl now. So, anyways, then they talked about Benihana. So, I think I've told y'all this before. Benihana was my very first date to the boyfriend that I had when I was 16 years old. He takes me to Benihana, which is not a cheap restaurant. We ended up going there every anniversary for the next 8.5 years. So I would collect these little cups they gave you, or there was something they're since gone. I donated them, but there was something I collected every year and I got a new one of. But I love Benihana. I love all of those kind of restaurants where they cook for you in the fire and throw the shrimp in your mouth, all those things. But when they were talking about the soup and the salad, that's all I could. I think at the time, I ate it every year in December. So it's kind of like, you kind of got like, this is the one meal. I don't need Benihana any other time. Now I'm 51. I could eat some Benihana soon. We're going to some restaurants I've never even heard of. So I'm excited to go to a new restaurant. But anyways, okay. Jeff Lewis Extended was Carrie Lewis and Kelly Osbourne. I am digging now that we've got a taste of Eden on separately from Kelly. Maybe it's just the combos. I don't know. Maybe we just had okay, I'm speaking for myself. Maybe I just had too much of Kelly and Eden together. I feel like they are both longtime friends of Jeff Lewis, but I don't feel like the three of them were really good friends. So and the two of the girls, completely different lifestyles. Like one has, Eden has older teenagers. Kelly has two younger kids. One's a stay-at-home mom. Are they both stay-at-home moms? Maybe they're both stay-at-home moms, but just very different stages in their life. And I don't feel like they hang out. So I just don't love them together. I was kind of excited for them I liked Kelly and Carrie being together because they talked about old school stuff. Like it sounded like Kelly was at Carrie's wedding 15 years ago. Kelly, the story, oh my God, this was so good. Did y'all catch this? This so tells us how Jeff has been Jeff for decades. So Kelly tells us a story forever ago. Some guy named Aaron that Jeff was dating sounded like Jeff had bought his ticket. Jeff's always in control financially. They got into a fight and Jeff calls Kelly and says, hey, I'm going to change his ticket to be in your name if you want to come to Hawaii with me. Flight's at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And she went. And I'm like, that is the biggest Jeff move ever. Like he was always doing that with Stu, canceling his flight. I don't think he ever added anyone else, but did he? I don't know. That was the biggest Jeff story. I was like, Jeff has always been Jeff. One thing they talked about, which was relatable to me, because even though I was a teacher, I was off in the summers. I feel like I have the mom experience of being a stay-at-home mom full-time and a working mom. Now, I, as a teacher, loved that schedule because I had set time off, right? I already had weekends off. I already had spring break. I had Christmas break. I had Thanksgiving. I had my summers off. So I felt like it was easier to me than what some people might work as a full-time year-round job, as in being a realtor like Carrie Lewis is. So when Carrie talks about being excited for summer to be over because all of the stress of the camps, and if you're sick and just keeping your kids occupied, I don't feel like Kelly could understand that because she's a stay-at-home mom. So she's like, and they're just a touch younger. Like Quinn is almost 12. I think Pepper is 9-ish, maybe 10-ish. Completely different than I think Kelly's kids are like 6 and 9. So just completely different to me. So we're not going to get into a working mom versus stay-at-home mom, what's harder, drama, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's a very different experience. We can all admit. This congestion is really grossing me out. Sorry, y'all. I think I'm gonna be like Jeff and be sick for weeks and weeks and weeks. Thank you for the follow over on TikTok. One thing Jameson let me know is all about the International Space System. I had no idea. I didn't even know anyone was stuck up there until Kelly brought it up. I'm like, what? Like, I don't watch the news at all. I just don't think I realized I think I knew it was floating. I don't think I knew that it was all these different countries around the country that have this like concerted effort to like build different things, and that they live in these little tunnels. Like, I was like, I need a documentary on the International Space System. So if anyone has one, oh gosh, Stony K official. I did not, but he did talk about a wild weekend. Somebody said on Reddit that Joey Zauzig relapsed. I mean, I wouldn't call it a relapse, and he's been with snow again. We'll just say snow. What did your cup say? You know what? Matter of fact, the birthday girl, the girl we're going out for her birthday tonight, she gave me this for my birthday years ago. She made it. She looked up this quote by Jeff Lewis. She's not a Jeff Lewis fan, but she looked up this quote on the internet and put it on a cup for me and made it. Anyways, and it JL for Jeff Lewis. It says, most people's problem is that they don't listen to me, Jeff Lewis. So isn't that cute? Anyways, that's what my cup says. Somebody just asked on TikTok. I'm having to drink so much water because this congestion is so gross. Isn't it so cute? Yes. Tiffany Chomp says, Jeff is always in control with the funds. I hate that. I feel like it's trying to control someone with money. Yeah. I mean, there's something about just feeling obligated, when somebody buys your lunch. Like when I go out with girlfriends, there's one girlfriend that she denied me the last 2 summers. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm about to unfriend her on Facebook. Anyways, she's in a school situation. So she has that schedule, and we have been having lunch once a summer for like the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years. I don't know. And she's been too busy the last 2 summers. I'm like, you have no kids, you have no husband. Like, anyway, like I'll be totally flexible with you, lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever. Anyways, why was I saying that? Oh, I say that to say, when I go out with someone like that once a year, we try to like take turns, like buying each other's lunch, or we just buy our own. You know what I mean? Like there's just no obligation. But I feel like when someone buys a flight, when someone pays for the hotel, pays for the vacation, you're always I don't know, you feel obligated. You're in that, it's a hierarchy thing. You're definitely made to feel like, whether Stu can afford it or not, Jeff makes it known that he wants to do that. You know what I mean? He's doing, oh God. Okay. Victoria Winter says he's not talking about Joey. First of all, Reddit. I mean, give me a break. Reddit. That's all I'm going to say there. I mean, someone told me last week that people say on Reddit that I don't have a dog. I'm like, okay, I'm making up Luna. Hi, Luna. And that I don't have 4 daughters and 1 son, that I actually have 4 sons and 1 daughter. And I'm like, but everyone believes Reddit as if it's like the gospel truth. And I'm like, first of all, why would I lie about that? Someone told me also that they say on Reddit that that I was never a teacher. And I'm like, okay, why would I lie about that? I don't lie about anything. That's probably part of my problem is Reddit is the devil, right? I don't know that they're talking about Joey Zauzig over on Reddit. I think Jeff has told him he needs to get off Reddit. I think he reads about Reddit too much in himself. That probably would make anybody spiral. And it would make you wonder, like, whether he's doing recreational stuff or not with his friends or family or whoever, that would make me question, wait a minute, if it's true at all, or if it's not true, worse, why are people putting out these stories about him if it's not true? Like, nobody can say they've ever seen me. Okay, no chumpettes. I've definitely been drunk with my girlfriends, my high school friends. If y'all remember the radio show I called into with Jeff after my 30th high school reunion, I was trashed. But we stayed at a hotel. We had a girls' night of it. I mean, there wasn't anything unsafe about it. And I didn't do anything wild. I just was drunk and went to sleep, basically. But like if anyone ever said, "Oh, I saw Sarah at a Jeff Lewis live event and she was so drunk," that would be false because I've never ever been drunk. Even when I took half a gummy that someone gave me and I felt kind of uneasy, I wasn't drunk. Like I've never been crazy. I've never whatever. So, I know y'all bring it up in comments and a lot of you are on Reddit, but I just don't give any credit to it because I know what out and out stupid lies have been said about me. Like, why would anyone say I don't have a dog? Why would anyone say I've never been a teacher? Why would anyone say the genders of my children that I'm lying about it? Like, I could absolutely prove all this stuff if I gave a rat's ass what they say on Reddit. To me, people on Reddit, some people just have way too much time and just don't have a life of their own, I guess. Now, people would say that about me watching reality TV, but, I'm not making up lies about other people. You know what I mean? Yeah, these could be the people that maybe saw him doing something. Yeah, I agree. I mean, do I think people don't do recreational things? I think they do for sure. Is it wrong? Who care? I mean, I don't know. The issue gets into, I don't think Jeff is into people in his immediate circle that might do recreational things. And I think when y'all know what I'm saying, he's made that very clear. He's not into that. He doesn't do it himself and he's not into that personally. So that would be the only issue I would think with that. And we know, I mean, the way y'all tell Jeff Lewis everything, and we know he reads it. So even though he may not be reading Reddit himself, we know people are sending him stuff. I'm sure of it. I don't do that. I don't have that relationship. Somebody even put on YouTube today in one of my comments that they didn't have Instagram or social media. So they were asking me to tell Jeff about a comedian that they want to come on. And I responded, but I'm like, also, that's just not my relationship with Jeff Lewis, is to recommend or tell him about co-hosts that I don't like. Like he's never solicited my advice for that. And I'm just not the one that messages him those kinds of things. So it would be very off brand, if you will, if I ever messaged Jeff and said, "Hey, I think you should have this comedian on," because I've never done that in the 2+ years that I've been chatting with him. So, Fave Star says, Joey, I don't know. Okay, I'll read this, but I don't know. Joey was used to being taken care of by his partner, Brian, money-wise. Now his life has changed and he has to work for his lifestyle. I think that's what I think is going on. I think there's a lot going on. He's admitted there's a lot going on. It's a huge change. I think it came on suddenly. I think he was surprised by the divorce. I think he's disappointed by the fact that he took the dogs away from him. I mean, Dr. Phil says you marry a completely different person than you end up divorcing. And I think this is probably what's going on with J-Lo and Ben, right? I mean, J-Lo and Ben said, the engraved said not going anywhere. And less than 2 years later, they're both going completely different areas. You know what I mean? No, Mary says, I need to follow the news or your husband will be telling you who to vote for. My husband doesn't tell me anything to do, to be honest with you. You've said your husband tells you what you need to know. Yes. Well, I mean, as far as like big things or a hurricane coming or, sad news or, things like that is what I mean. It's just the news is not my thing. It's so, you know what I mean? That's true. Here's you then says he was talking about orgies on the last episode. So he's not helping what Reddit thinks of what he really does. You're right. I mean, you're right. But he's also, if you look at his Instagram, he's very making Instagram stories like, I'm very honest. If you don't like me, it almost made me, if you read too much into it, I would almost think he and Jeff had a tiny tiff, because Jeff was basically saying the other day, you need to get your life together. Like, we know you're going through a big deal, but his Instagram is very like, I'm a very honest person, and if you don't want me to be honest, you need to basically go away. Something like that. I'm misquoting, but something like that. Jet says, I think Joey's is covering up a lot. Like, let's start with no money. I don't feel like he has no money, though. I mean, I think obviously when two people live together, then they've got both their incomes together. So financially, that's way different than having to have a house on your own. I don't even know where he's living. It's very confusing. I feel like he was in the house that they were renting when that was broken in. They had this other house they'd moved out of because it was such a complete gut job remodel. So that's the house they've got to figure out, like how much money, who put in, all the stuff, because he said Brian put in more money than he did. It just gets icky, right? But I feel like then he moved and was kind of staying in some hotels, which has got to be a shit ton of money. Maybe what's the big one? The one he likes to go to a lot, real famous hotel. I feel like maybe they were paying him or giving him a really good deal to post about it. You know what I mean? But I feel like he's now back in a house. So I don't know if it's the house that they were renting. I don't know if I were away at any time, but if I were home during an attempted break-in, I darn sure don't know if I would want to stay in that house. I feel like he packed up and moved from that house, but I feel like it's been super vague too, right? Does anyone know? And I follow him on Instagram. Like, I see his stuff. Jerry said, Jet says, where's the house they were building? I have no idea. Somewhere in LA. It's a rental now. Very temp. Joey had no real money. I don't know, y'all. I feel like I feel like maybe Joey's dad is an attorney. I don't feel like they come from being poor, but I also don't feel like it. What is Joey, like 31, 32 years old? And like, no one's paying his bills. I think he's been an influencer for like 8 years now. So, he's not like poor, y'all. And he's working more than ever. I think this made him like step up his game and, focus on himself instead of, everything. Well, that's true. Bravo and Stone says content creators aren't making the 2020 money anymore. That's true. Like, remember the days before I was even really on Instagram and followed any celebrities, like Kim Kardashian would make one Instagram story and she'd make like $1 million. You know what I mean? So it was now that's just a thing that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, I think people can make money, but I also see with creators, they want you to almost like what Jeff does with Shane. They always want you, they kind of want you to produce your own commercial about the product. Like, I don't know how many times I saw people hawking Bloom, that crappy drink thing that every TikToker was like, happened to be drinking when they were like talking about their morning. And I'm like, yeah, I would think Crafty Dodger, at least on Instagram, says Taco Bell is a nice revenue source. I would think so too. Someone said he's allegedly much of a diva behind the scenes. I've met him multiple times. I've never seen him be a diva, but every time I've met him has been in a very public setting. The Hollywood House Live season 2 premiere party, hundreds of people. And then, where else have I met him? Gosh, one or two of the Jeff Lewis live events. Definitely the Phoenix one. He was there. Was he in Irvine? Does anyone remember? Like, I literally can't. No, I don't feel like he was in Irvine. Anyway, I've met him multiple times. I've never seen him be nothing but nice to people. But sometimes people have a reputation of being a diva, and then somebody else will say that they're super nice. So, talking about Joey Zauzig from Jeff Lewis. So, anyways, the squatter story. Let's chat about that. We got mixed up in whatever. Okay, if y'all have any questions, we will open it up to questions now. Not that we don't always open it up to question. Yes, Libby on TikTok says, doesn't he have a large following? I mean, I think his following, again, talking about Joey Zauzig, with every chump that comes on the radio, their following gets bigger because it is so being on Jeff Lewis, I mean, everyone gets all that exposure. So I think he's got even more, but I think he was huge before that on TikTok and Instagram. So, that is what his career is. And then also he was on Real Friends of West Hollywood. I think he showed the other day, like with yesterday, just cameras behind him. So I think there's some other project going on that he can't talk about yet. Question, what did I eat for breakfast today? Well, I don't really eat breakfast, but I did have 2 eggs. I normally have 3. Since I'm going to a dinner tonight, I didn't want to be too hungry. So I had 2 eggs today around 12 or 1. Yeah, around 1. And then I have 2 cups of coffee that I only drink because my husband makes too much coffee and I don't want to throw it down the sink. I'm so cheap. Okay, so they tell this crazy squatter story. I'm still open to questions. I'm just seeing in comments if there are any questions. Thank y'all for tapping the screen over on TikTok. Let's get some taps going on TikTok. It helps all the algorithm for other people to find us. They tell this crazy squatter story that I don't know if the rules or the laws in or California are different, but apparently if somebody starts living in your house. So apparently Kelly had a house for sale. Nobody was living there. Carrie was her realtor, and she was noticing, Carrie was noticing just weird things in the house. Like the blinds were open, the blinds were closed, the hardware was different. Somebody was going to Airbnb her house out. And if that would have happened, thankfully the law got involved. If that would have happened, it would have taken like a year because they don't have the rights in there for sure. Crazy. What else? Here's you then said, do you think viewership with Jeff Lewis Live is down? I'll be honest. People are very honest with me about their listening habits. People lately are complaining about the guests that are on, and they're also complaining about the app. So I also think the 2 hours, I think it's a lot. So even though I feel like the Jeff Lewis Extended Show is sometimes better than Jeff Lewis Live, I cannot imagine if I were still a teacher or if I had a job outside the home, I don't know how I would be able to listen to Jeff Lewis and then live my life and load the dishwasher and all the things. I think the 2 hours is a lot, and I think people want to listen, but I don't know that they're finding the time for sure. Hold on. TikTok is making me put on some puzzle or something. Oh, Courtney. Yes, that was a big story yesterday, and Jeff Lewis kind of joked about it. This whole Alex Cooper call her daddy podcast allegedly got $100 million deal. So she left Spotify and is now on Sirius XM. So Courtney says maybe they'll fix the app now that she's on there. Maybe they don't have the money now to fix the app now that they've spent $100 million. That's a lot of money. Crafty Dodger says Doug needs to be on more to balance out the show. I don't know why. I feel like he's still on about once a week. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Miguel says, I started listening to the archives. The recent shows are boring. I think he's hindered by not. Also, I think without him having a boyfriend, let's face it, the drama, the on and off pause of him and Stu, like that was always the biggest ratings. When we had the most people on here watching is when he and Stu would break up or have a pause because people wanted to hear the latest. What was the argument about? What did Jeff do? How did Stu respond? You know what I mean? Victoria says, Sarah, can't you tell Jeff next time that the app doesn't work? It totally fails. He knows. I don't complain to him about that. He knows. From Crafty Dodger, what? Here's you then says the guests are D-lists or unknown. Yeah. Oh, SVD. Megan and Doug during COVID are epic. And I don't remember, and Jeff has given me permission to talk about the Phoenix Live show. I just can't post the videos about it. he either said it at the live show or he said it on the radio since. I don't remember, or maybe it was on our conversation. I think it was actually our phone conversation a week or two ago. Anyways, but he said that people complain about wanting Megan and Doug, and he said, so do I. He said, but it ain't happening. Like, that ship has sailed. So, and it's not Doug, it's the Megan ship that has sailed. Everyone wants the old days, and it's just not happening. So he can't just not go on. It's his career, it's his livelihood, it's his passion. I've always told y'all, I feel like the radio show means the world to Jeff Lewis. I feel like us chump listeners mean the world to him. Should the show take a breaks to fix the problems with production? Production? Like Jeff Lewis Live? No, I don't want to break. Yes, Kaba Cove says, I can't watch in our country. I don't understand why they don't let certain countries watch. Right. I think the only way SiriusXM is allowed legally without like this illegal whatever VPN thing is North America. So I think it's Canada, Mexico, and United States. So anyways, I've already talked about that. Stony Kill Official says, I saw on Reddit, is it true how you got in trouble for talking about the live show? I wouldn't say trouble. I would say Jeff said, I apologize, but we did not announce at the Phoenix show for no videos. But I would like for no videos to be made from the show because he wants the show content to be only available for the people at the live event. He's well aware that it gets thrown up on Reddit within 30 minutes, and people had already let me know that before I posted any of my videos. But yes, we did chat, and I did remove the videos because I've already chatted about this. Go look at the other podcast I did that talks about that. I think it's titled like, Why is Reddit all up in arms about me and Jeff Lewis? Anyways, we're going to wrap things up very soon. Why has Teresa not been on yet? She said she wants to come on after the show was wrapped. Well, I just think she's not in LA much. And I don't know why Teresa doesn't come on Jeff Lewis Live. Well, they had a falling out for a while. They only sort of got it cleared up recently. So, she was mad at him for saying things. So anyways, thank you, Lisa. She says, I love how you and Jeff talk about stuff now. Yes, it's nice. It's nice that he doesn't go and blast me on the radio before telling me about a problem he has. That was a lie, the first one. Crazy. Hit the like button. Thank you. Okay, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining live. If you're listening as a replay or watching, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, make a comment. It all helps with the algorithm and the engagement. If you're lucky enough to have a real reality TV or Jeff Lewis fan, please share my accounts with them. I'm everywhere at Sarah from Texas podcast. And the actual podcast is called Sarah from Texas. Thank you. I will have a great time at dinner. I love a girls' night out. It'll be so fun. I cannot wait. Bye, y'all. Bye, TikTok. Bye, Instagram. Bye, YouTube.